So let's talk about the the big topic here, which I wanted to pick your brain on, which is relics. You have a insane relic collection, man, and so I thought you're the perfect person to ask this question to. And it's like, why did you pick these specific relics? And if they do like mems and they do like relics, what are the type of questions that they should be asking themselves whenever they're trying to make a relic or a mem collection?
Yeah, and just getting into it, these relics, I don't know, I kind of see how people are asking more relics because this thing got way more views than I thought it would be. It was just a post and a picture, and
Look at
it
this
got
though,
thousands
man.
of
It's
views.
crazy. Yeah, and these are all like event used, right? Like what specifically did you target for this collection?
100%. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely all event used. One of my rules, I guess you could say, is it has to be event used. The bigger the relic, the better.
Okay.
And
So like
you
these
can
big jumbo patches and jumbo mems and stuff.
exactly the jumbo relics they call them, and then also what do you call that? Multicolored. So
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
tried, and it didn't matter. This is a big thing for me. Like some people really care about like rarity because a lot of these come in different parallels as well. Out of 88s, out of 8. That Connor one is an out of 8, 8 out of 8 actually. But to me, honestly, I don't really care if it's an 8 out of 8 or a 135, an out of 135, because you'll see Ruby out of 8s that have only one color versus a
Mhm.
one out of 135 that has 3 colors, 2 colors. And I'd rather get that. And
Right.
on top of it, it's cheaper, of course, right?
So so
'Cause, and
just
again,
the
that's
so just like the eye appeal of the relic takes precedent over sometimes the rarity of it in some cases for you.
um, yeah, 100%. And then accidentally, again, in other sports, the more colors in these relics, the more valuable it is as well. And of course, the game used or the fight used is a big thing there.
Whenever you're getting these, to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like most of these are maybe canvas. Is that almost all of what are in our space? The event used is basically going to be all canvas. I think we have like some specific wraps or things like that. But in your experience hunting for these and looking for these, is that kind of the case most of the time?
Yeah, I just want specific use because there's different kinds of relics, right? So these are fight relics, which is the mat that they fought on and
Mhm.
stood on and fought, which is crazy to think that we have a piece of that history, right?
Yeah.
And these relics, when I was getting them, they're really not that expensive, really,
Yeah.
Yeah, just in that picture right there, that on the if you go to that Sean O'Malley, that's his first fight in the UFC. That one's the
Oh, that's
35
cool.
and it's a two color there. The Charles there, that's his first fight. UFC 22. Can you believe this guy's been fighting since UFC 22?
Wow, that blows my mind.
Yeah.
UFC
What was it fight
22.
one?
Oh my gosh, I did
Fight
not know that.
22 or UFC 22? But he's been fighting forever, right? And funny story about that quick one is, I bought that card 3 times. That first one, that's was my first one, and it was in decent condition. The second one was wrecked. And then the third one, it had 2 colors, but it was also wrecked. And I had to send
Mhm.
it back to the seller because they paid for that. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so you've got
Like a
a bunch more here, and yeah, I'm kind of noticing a theme now with you sent that's the dual. Basically, most of these are going to be canvas. You've got some interesting vintage relics, but as far as this collection goes, man, like you're kind of all over the place. So is it? I guess what takes precedent? Is it the event used aspect of it, or is it the specific fighter? And you kind of mentioned also that these are very, undervalued potentially or kind of slept on. And I would very much agree because I know Damien has kind of had the same sentiment, and he's told me about some of his buys that he's had, and he also was saying like these are very very cheap comparatively to what they are with the history behind them. So what takes precedent? Is it the event used that you're hunting for with, and then the fighter, or are you kind of working backwards with fighter and then event used?
I would say fighter then event use. Yeah.
Okay.
So specific fighter first, and then I'll go with what event it represented. Because there's some fights too that didn't really mean too much to the fighter.
Yeah.
Some of the main things would be, uh, of course, if I look for if like the drama of what happened, you know, uh, the biggest one that sticks to me all the time is the Chow versus Silva, Chow Tony versus Silva drama, and how Chow talked smack at that time, which is so unheard of. It's before Connor, right? He's like the first one.
Is that this one
And
right
so,
here that you're talking about?
yeah,
Yeah, this is pretty
yeah,
sick.
that's their first fight right there, and I thought that was cool. And of course, there's part two of that. That that one on the left is part two. The that two colors. So that's their first fight and second fight fighting each other of Chell
Nice.
versus Silva. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, what's cool about the dual color, right, is you can like actually you can watch the tape, watch them fight, and see exactly where they got this from, which I think that is
Yeah,
really cool when you can tell exactly where the relic is, where they were fighting in the cage.
and I do that. I actually do that.
Yeah.
I'll look at a part on eBay and I'm like, okay, is this legit? Or at least I did that in the beginning. It's like, how can they have this much relics and be this accurate? But it's pretty accurate from what I see.
Nice, dude. So I guess we kind of touched on it already, but why do you think all these type of relics and specifically the event use relics are like really collectible long term? And why do you think people maybe are sleeping on these right now? Do you think it's just education? Do you think it's just people solely looking at more modern stuff? Why do you think these aren't more popular?
Yeah, I think it's everything you said right there, all the above. Um, as far as future when it comes to this, who really knows, right?
Yeah.
Who knows? I have I built a lot of relationships in this community and talked to people about history. I love learning from people as much as possible. So I always ask questions because there's collectors, of course. I only started this in UFC 3 years ago, 2022. So I asked so much questions and learned so much from people. And I bought from people like, I did this, I don't know if you guys know about this one, but aside from cards, this is also, yeah, this is also the relics that come from UFC collectibles. This one's the 250. This is the Ronda Rousey versus Liz Carmouche, which is the first women's fight, first women's championship belt, which to me is like the Hank Aaron of baseball, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
history. So,
That's something I never thought about. That is massive, dude. Definitely.
yeah. And what's cool about that is it comes with an authentic certificate from Dana White that's signed by him. So with it, you get a Dana White sticker and it's numbered to 250 on those things. But, when I bought that, yeah, there's the picture there. So I thought that's really cool. So it's numbered to 250. And when I got it from the seller, he was saying, uh, hey, I bought this when it first came out about 10 years ago, but it seems like I'm just pretty much getting my value back for it. But but we don't know, right? We just hope. But in the end, I'm just collecting it. And if it goes up, it goes up.
Right.
And
And
I'm
if
all about
not,
it.
this is a sick piece of MMA history and UFC history to have, which is like, it's the Venn diagram of collecting, right? You have like what you enjoy, what you think is cool. Then you have like what is valuable. And then you have, like what's going to last a long time. And this is one of those things that basically could hit all three of those for sure. Especially women's MMA is still pretty underpriced, even when you're talking
Yeah,
about like I did I had a video about the Nunez first auto and
yeah,
looking up the statistics on that dude, it's pretty insane. And like,
yeah.
that's she's underpriced. And especially Rousey is pretty underpriced. But again, 2013, man, like we're only 10 years, 15 years away from that point in time. So we still have a long way to go in order to just let the sport mature. I mean, the sport is still extremely young. The UFC is still extremely young. So these values could continue to climb over time. So we got tons of relics, man. You are the relic whisperer, which is why I like having people on the channel like you. I'm learning as well, and getting to pick people's brains that are really kind of focused in a specific topic to me is really valuable. So I appreciate you coming on. What are your three favorite cards in your relic collection right now?
Oh man, I'm not too sure. I gotta say, maybe of course, the Connor one. I'll just bring it up here. I want to use my collectibles too, but please Carmouche, and then of course I have that McGregor Habib one. But as far as cards wise, I'll be saying, yeah, this is the 8 of 8 Connor
Ooh,
card. This is
that's a
from
heater right
UFC.
there.
Yeah, this is from UFC 194. So this is when he beat Aldo. So that's a big
Wow,
one.
that is sick.
Yeah, I got really lucky with this one. It seemed like the guy just wanted to get rid of it, and wow, okay, I'll take it. No problem.
What's the pricing on some of these, man? Because honestly, I haven't really looked into relics at all. What are you talking about with a huge card like that?
Well, oh man, if I reveal the price, then people are gonna lowball me when I try to sell it in the future. No,
Okay,
no,
fair enough, fair
I'll
enough.
leave it. Let's teach the community, and that's the thing, right? Is I want to also help the community whatever way is. You never know when someone's ready to just let it go, right? Release the collection or whatever it is. But I got this for $250, believe it or not,
Yeah, that is way too
and
cheap, dude. That's crazy.
way too cheap, bro. And it's an 8 out of 8. It's 8.5, which is great because it's a thick card. It's a 100-point card. So these are hard to grade, and this is one of the biggest fights in UFC history, right?
Yeah,
So, and it's
that's awesome,
McGregor.
man. That's
And
awesome.
then
See,
you compare oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I would like just pricing wise, like this is one of those things where like sometimes comps are as a seller, I'm not going to listen to the comps, right? Like if you got an absolute
Mhm.
steal like that card, and then somebody's trying to say, hey, like, what do you think about like 275? It's like, bro, like it shouldn't have been this cheap to begin with. There's no way I'm going to
Yeah.
let it go for more. So it's kind of an interesting thing that you can have as a seller where it might take you longer to move it. It might be harder to move it, but like you're saying, that should be much more of a of the event specific is tied to not only the relic but also to a moment that is massive, and that will go down in history as being Connor's Mystic Mac, one of his Mystic Mac moments, which is going to last forever.
Yeah,
So super nice, dude.
exactly.
So you mentioned that one, you mentioned the Rousey Carmouche, and then you mentioned the other one. What was the third one?
Well, this one's pretty cool. This is the UFC 200 card, and this is Amanda Nunes. And I don't know if you know who my PCs are, but actually my number one PC is Amanda Nunes. So I also got that
Nice.
first auto that you got. But yeah, this one's to 50. And, like I mentioned earlier, there's some cards that are uh, numbered lower, but it's like only yellow.
Right.
So I was like, the more colors there are, and if I see something with 3 colors, I might sell this and go grab that 3 color. And that's kind of how I do my investing or my collecting too.